Hey guys, hope you're all doing great. I'm Hoodie, and today we're going to check out some Reddit stories together. And if you enjoy listening to Reddit stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The subreddit Am I the Jerk? Lee Stance. My girlfriend of 10 years said she needed more time when I proposed to her. Am I the asshole for checking out of my relationship ever since? My girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 25 male, have been dating for 10 years. Prior to dating, we were close friends. We have known each other for almost 17 years now. Last month, I proposed to her, and she said she needed some more time to get her life in order. The whole thing shocked me. She apologized, and I told her it was okay. However, I have been checking out of my relationship ever since she said no. As days pass, I am slowly falling out of love with her, and she has probably noticed it. I have stopped initiating date nights, sex, and she has been pretty much initiating everything. She has asked me many times about proposing, and she has said she's ready now, but I told her I need more time to think about it. She has assured me many times that we are meant to be together, and that she wants me to be her life partner forever. We live together in an apartment, but our lease is expiring in a couple of months. I don't really plan on extending it, and I am probably going to break up with her then. Am I the asshole? What immediately stands out to me in the first part of this story is how powerful rejection can be, even when it's gentle, even when it's followed by apologies. When someone proposes after 10 years and hears, "I need more time," that moment doesn't just disappear once the other person says they're ready later. It settles into the background of the relationship, like a quiet fracture. From a personal perspective, his emotional withdrawal doesn't feel calculated or cruel. It feels protective, almost like his heart went into self-preservation mode. He doesn't lash out. He doesn't fight. He just stops leaning in. And that kind of emotional retreat is often a sign that something fundamental has shifted, not because he wants to punish her, but because he doesn't feel safe in the same way anymore. What's also striking is that even when she starts saying she's ready, the emotional roles have already flipped. Now she's chasing, and he's uncertain. And that imbalance can be just as destabilizing as the original rejection. It creates this quiet question in his mind. Are we actually on the same page? Or are we just afraid of losing what we've always had? Emotionally, this doesn't read like someone playing games. It reads like someone realizing, slowly and painfully, that the future he imagined may no longer feel secure, even if the relationship is still there. And while his emotional distance already felt like the quiet fallout of a proposal that changed everything, the update shows just how much more complicated things became once buried feelings and long-standing connections came to the surface. And now, here's the update from the original poster. So I, 26 male, am engaged to my fiancée, 26 female. We've been together for 11 years. Our biggest relationship difficulty happened last year when I proposed and she rejected me. You can check my previous post for more details. That was genuinely the worst moment of my life. Even though she apologized in the days and weeks after and said she panicked and that she did want to marry me, I was very close to ending things. Eventually I stayed, and a few months later I proposed again and she said yes immediately and was super happy about it. But it's always been in the back of my mind how she rejected and humiliated me when I first proposed to her. So my fiancée has a sister, 27 female. The three of us grew up almost like a trio. Growing up though, I was always closer to her sister. She always reminded me of my own sister, who passed when she was 10. She asked me out once in middle school and again in freshman year of high school. But I always saw her like a sister, and in sophomore year I started dating my fiancée, her sister. She was nothing but supportive, and was genuinely happy for us. So yeah, Thanksgiving was yesterday. I was invited. I'm close with her parents too. And we all drank, laughed, talked. Late at night my fiancé's sister asked if we could go to another room to talk. We were both drunk, reminiscing about old memories, and she kissed me. And I didn't stop it. The worst part was that I've never felt anything like that before. It wasn't butterflies. I literally felt like white sparks behind my eyes and this deep feeling in my chest. It felt like my heart skipped or something, like a heart murmur. It hit me so hard that even now, just thinking about it, I can feel that heart murmur. I asked her today if she regretted what we did, and she said, "Not at all," and that she was just shooting her shot one last time and would respect my decision either way, and also admitted that if I did choose her, it would likely destroy her bond with her sister and also the family dynamics. But she said it would be worth it for me. So yeah, I know it's horrible, but I'm just thinking about so many emotional moments my fiance's sister and I have shared, like when she was there for me during my worst moments, including sleeping in a hospital chair for 3 days straight after I had a major accident. She asked me out back when I was overweight, shy, and had zero confidence. I only started dating my fiancé after a huge weight loss transformation, which took almost a year, but her sister never cared about any of that physical stuff. She's always been super loyal. And that kiss, I can't lie, I've never felt like that ever in my life. Would it be wrong to end the engagement? I'm not delusional about the consequences. I feel sick and nauseous even thinking about the fallout and the ruined family dynamics. But I would never have even thought about entertaining this if my fiancé hadn't rejected my proposal last year. Ever since then, it's always been at the back of my mind. Update 2. Hey, so only posting this update because a lot of people were asking for an update. This will be my final update. So yes, sadly, I don't have a great update. I broke up with my fiancée yesterday, and yes, she was expectedly shocked and sort of panicking, etc. I felt horrible seeing her cry like that and seeing that reaction. And she kept asking why, and I told her that I just don't think we're meant to be together and that she deserves someone far better than me. She was kind of wailing and stuff, and it broke my heart. So obviously both our families are shocked, especially because we just had Thanksgiving, and they asked a lot of questions about the wedding and our future plans and even baby names, etc. So yeah, everyone's pretty shocked. I didn't really want to become this big a drama, but it sadly has become a huge drama, and everyone is speculating what happened. I met my fiancé's sister last night for dinner, and we both realized the gravity of the situation. We spoke at length, and I told her we should probably take some space and take it slow, maybe wait a few months, and she said she was willing to wait however long. She recommended that we can move to a different state. We both work remote, so that works in our favor, and we can choose any state we like. I asked her many times if she was sure and if she had any regrets after seeing her sister's reaction, and she said she loves her sister and that the situation obviously sucks, but that love is love, and that the love we have and the deep connection we have is very rare, and that now that she had it, she would never let it go ever till she dies. I got those heart flutter feelings again, and this time I was sober, and we didn't even kiss. It was just her words. So that's probably my final update. Thank you for all your advice. Once the sister enters the story, everything becomes emotionally complicated in a way that's hard to ignore. What really hit me is that this connection with the sister isn't sudden or random. It's rooted in years of emotional closeness, shared history, and moments of real vulnerability. Hospital stays, long nights, quiet support when life was hard. That kind of bond doesn't disappear just because people choose different romantic paths. It just gets buried. And when the kiss happens, the way he describes it isn't about excitement or thrill. It's about recognition. That deep, physical sense of something clicking that people rarely forget once they experience it. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's fair. But it does mean it's real, and that makes everything far more painful for everyone involved. What makes this whole situation especially tragic is that no one here is acting out of malice. His fiancée didn't reject him to hurt him. She panicked. The sister didn't move in out of spite. She acted on feelings she had buried for years. And he didn't break up lightly. He did it knowing full well he was detonating not just a relationship, but an entire family structure. From my point of view, this stops being a story about choosing between two women and becomes a story about timing, emotional honesty, and the cost of unspoken feelings. Sometimes love doesn't arrive cleanly or conveniently. Sometimes it shows up in ways that guarantee someone will be hurt no matter what you choose. The final update, where they talk about moving away and starting fresh, feels both hopeful and heavy. Hopeful because they're choosing each other deliberately. Heavy because that choice comes with permanent consequences, broken trust, fractured family bonds, and a kind of grief that won't just vanish with distance. If I had to sum up the entire story in one thought, it would be this. Sometimes the hardest part of love isn't finding it. It's realizing it arrives too late, in the wrong place, and at a cost you can never fully undo. And in situations like this, there are no clean victories. Only choices people make while trying not to lose themselves completely. Now, let's move on to the next post. The subreddit Am I the Asshole? WTF_I'm drunk. Would I be the asshole for asking my wife to end a friendship that is clearly toxic to our marriage? I'll try to be succinct. I apologize in advance for all errors. Yesterday, I had a funeral to attend. It was a little more than 3 hours away. When returning, I was going through the small town where my wife and I went to college, as did my brother and sister. My sister still lives in the college town, so on the way back I text and ask if she wants me to take her to lunch. Probably need to point out that little sister is 8 years younger and looks nothing like her 4 brothers. She is 5 foot tall, tiny, and a youthful look. The rest of us are over 6 foot healthy. So I just left a funeral for her and wanted a drink. Sister couldn't because how close we were to her office, but did sneak a sip or 2 of mine when the coast was clear. After I hugged Sister goodbye and jumped in the truck to get on a conference call for the rest of the trip. That's the background. Damn, this can't be short. About 30 minutes from home, I'm on the call in the truck and get a text from wife saying, "Holy shit, Karen is here and it's crazy. Call when you can." Karen is a close friend of my wife for many years. I've never had issues with Karen, but it's my wife's friend, not mine, so we are no real close. She also lives in our old college town. You can see where this is going, right? My call ends a few miles from home, so I don't call, just go home. When I get home, Karen is trying to convince my wife that I have a girlfriend in our college town. She is trying to get her to leave the house and take our 15 and 13-year-old daughters with her. Apparently, she saw me eating lunch with my sister and thought it was a girlfriend. My wife said she was talking a mile a minute and wouldn't let her get a word in, calling me names and making wild accusations. Just before I walk in, she finally asked if it was my sister I had lunch with, and that started to calm things down. When she realized she freaked out over nothing, she left right after I got home. My wife then told me about the things she was saying, and it was obvious Karen hates me and wants my wife to leave me. Details will take too long, but it was many easy refuted accusations that made no sense to my wife. My issue is she did all the accusations in front of my girls, and that is completely unacceptable. My wife is very upset with her friend, and I'm mad as hell. She apparently hates me, and that can't be tolerated for someone so close to my wife. If more details are needed, I'll happily provide. What immediately strikes me about this story is how fast an ordinary, harmless moment turns into emotional chaos. A brother grabbing lunch with his sister after a funeral. That should be the most normal, unremarkable thing in the world. And yet, within hours, it gets twisted into a narrative of betrayal and danger, loud enough to involve teenagers and shake the foundation of a household. From a personal standpoint, the most disturbing part isn't the misunderstanding itself. Mistakes happen. It's the intensity and certainty with which the friend storms in, accusing, name-calling, and pushing for the wife to leave with the kids before even asking a basic question. That kind of reaction doesn't feel protective. It feels agenda-driven. What also stands out emotionally is the position the wife is put in. She's not just dealing with a dramatic friend. She's being pressured to doubt her own husband, in front of her daughters, in her own home. That's not concern. That's intrusion. And once kids are pulled into adult conflict, the line has already been crossed. From the narrator's perspective, the anger feels justified not because someone misunderstood a situation, but because someone tried to rewrite his character in front of his children. That kind of damage doesn't disappear just because the truth eventually comes out. And while the initial shock of the situation left a lot of anger and unanswered questions in the air, the update shows what happened once the family had time to talk it through and decide what kind of behavior they were willing to accept moving forward. Real quick, and I'm out on this. At dinner tonight, I asked what we thought about Karen. Oldest daughter immediately said she wants nothing to do with her. Other daughter and wife agreed. I obviously did too. After the girls went upstairs, my wife said she will figure out how to cut her out. She still doesn't understand where the insane vitriol from me came from. It was the fact that she did this so loudly and insistently in front of the girls that my wife is angered about. So Karen is out, and I'm happy and didn't have to do anything really. Love my wife and girls, They are all amazingly smart and mature. The update, to me, is where this story quietly becomes about family strength rather than outside drama. What I really appreciate here is that the wife doesn't brush it off as just Karen being Karen. She recognizes the seriousness of what happened, especially the impact on their daughters. And the daughters' reactions matter too. Their immediate discomfort shows that they understood exactly how inappropriate the situation was, even at their age. From my point of view, this becomes a story about emotional loyalty inside a marriage. The wife doesn't defend a friend out of habit or history. She defends the stability of her home. And that choice says a lot about where her priorities truly are. There's also something powerful in the fact that the husband doesn't have to demand anything. He doesn't issue ultimatums. The family talks, recognizes the harm, and the decision is made together. That kind of unity is often what actually exposes toxic outside influences. Not confrontation, but contrast. Looking at the whole picture, this doesn't feel like a story about jealousy or gossip. It feels like a story about someone who wanted to insert themselves into a marriage in a destructive way, and a family that refused to let that disruption take root. If I had to sum up the entire story in one thought, it would be this. When someone tries to turn your children against their own home, that's no longer friendship, that's interference. And sometimes, the healthiest response isn't drama or revenge. It's simply closing the door and protecting what matters most. Now, let's move on to the next post. The subreddit, Am I the Asshole? Content_lemon_7527. Would I be the asshole for telling my sister that our grandpa is a horrible person? So this is something that I've unfortunately had on my mind for the past few months. My 15 male friend introduced me to Reddit and told me to post here if I want an honest opinion. I've been hesitating because I was nervous about someone from my family seeing this, but I'm pretty sure by now none of them understand English, so I think I'm safe. But back to the situation. I have a younger sister, 13 female, that I'm gonna call Layla for the sake of the post. She's always been incredibly close to our grandpa, 68 male, to the point I remember her screaming a lot whenever Mom, 41 female, told us we're going back home from a visit to our grandparents. Our parents have gotten a divorce about 10 years ago, and he's not really in our lives anymore. He has a new family, and we're pretty sure our stepmom is the only reason he still sees us. I'm not sure how to describe it, but our mom has always been weird around Grandpa. I don't think I've ever seen them talk or be in the same room together for more than a few minutes. Grandma, 63 female, has always been sad about it. I asked her about it a few years ago and was told that Mom used to be a difficult child and couldn't handle punishments. In retrospect, that was weird to hear. Anyway, I also have two aunts from Mom's side. Neither of them are in contact with Grandma and Grandpa. I never knew why, and the topic was never brought up. A few months ago, I was playing on my computer late into the night while my sister was on a sleepover with a friend of hers. I had headphones on, but I took them off when I wanted to go lay down and heard my mom crying from her room. I went to check on her, since the crying seemed pretty random to me and I had no idea why she was sad. Mom said my sister told her she was planning on letting Grandpa walk her down the aisle once she gets married, not our dad, and that Grandpa has always been like a father to her anyway. Safe to say, she spilled everything to me. I don't really want to explain everything that was said, but the main points I got out of that talk were that my mom and her sisters have been mentally, physically, and sexually abused by their father up into their teenage years. Mom always vented to me whenever she was frustrated or sad, but that was the first I've ever heard about this. So yeah, I was in shock and ended up sleeping in one bed with her to watch over her for the night, because she seemed really hysterical. When she woke up, she apologized profusely for telling me everything and begged me not to tell my sister because she's still too young and she loves Grandpa too much to handle such information. I've been debating about this for a while. On one hand, I get that telling my sister now, especially with Christmas right around the corner, wouldn't be smart. But I feel like Mom doesn't want me to tell anything to my sister at all, even when we grow up. And just to be clear, my sister isn't being abused like our mom was. She's always been genuinely happy and confident and laughed at me when I asked if she ever felt scared around Grandpa. Still, this entire situation feels very icky to me. I haven't been able to look at my grandparents the same way after what I now know. I feel like my sister deserves to know. If not now, then soon. So, would I be the asshole for telling my sister that our grandpa is a horrible person? What immediately stands out to me in this story is how heavy a secret can feel when it lands on the shoulders of someone who's still a kid themselves. This isn't just information. It's emotional responsibility being handed to a 15-year-old with no roadmap on what to do next. From a personal perspective, the most painful part isn't even the grandfather's abuse, as horrifying as that is. It's the position the mother unknowingly puts her son in. She tells him the truth in a moment of emotional collapse, then asks him to carry that truth silently while continuing to sit at the same holiday tables, smile at the same man, and watch his sister adore someone he now sees very differently. That's an unbearable kind of contradiction for anyone, let alone a teenager. I also can't ignore how protective this boy becomes toward his sister. He isn't motivated by anger or revenge. He's motivated by fear and responsibility. Once you know someone is capable of hurting children, it becomes almost impossible not to see danger everywhere, even when there is no current abuse happening. His discomfort doesn't feel dramatic. It feels instinctive. Emotionally, this part of the story reads like a kid trying to act like an adult far too soon, because no adult around him is fully taking charge of the truth. And while he was still torn between protecting his sister's innocence and honoring his mother's pain, the update shows what happened when that silence finally broke, and how complicated the truth can become once it's spoken out loud. I'm feeling pretty down, and figured that I could write an update for anyone interested. So, I told Layla about what Grandpa has done to our mom and aunts. Someone in the comments on my previous post pointed out that she may not believe me without any proof. Well, they were right. I tried convincing my mom to talk to Layla. She refused. She also forbade me from mentioning anything to my aunts, as they don't know that I know about everything. I ended up not talking to them, seeing as I don't know them that well and didn't know how they'd react. Christmas and New Year's passed. I really couldn't take it anymore and ended up sitting Layla down 2 days ago to talk. She wouldn't listen to me at all, laughed at me, and called me a liar alongside other horrible names. She also stormed off to get our mom in order to ask her if she really told me all these things about Grandpa, and Mom said she never said any of that stuff to me. Layla has been angry with me since, and Mom also hasn't been talking to me. Honestly, not sure what I was expecting to happen, but this still sucks. Not a happy or exciting update. The update is where this story becomes heartbreaking in a different way. Not because more harm is revealed, but because the boy learns what it feels like to tell the truth and be punished for it. What really hit me is that he did what adults always say kids should do. He tried to protect someone he loves. He tried to speak up, and he tried to be honest. And in return, he lost his sister's trust and his mother's emotional support at the same time. That's an incredibly lonely place to land. What complicates everything is the mother's denial after initially telling him the truth. Whether that came from fear, shame, or trauma, it effectively made him look like the villain. Suddenly, he's not the protector anymore. He's the liar who ruined Christmas. And that kind of role reversal can mess with a young person's sense of reality in really damaging ways. From my point of view, this stops being a story about whether he should have told his sister and becomes a story about what happens when trauma is buried instead of handled. The silence doesn't just protect the adults, it transfers emotional fallout onto the children, who are left to deal with confusion, loyalty conflicts, and broken trust they didn't create. What hurts the most is that he did everything out of love, and love wasn't enough to shield him from the consequences. If I had to sum up the entire story in one thought, it would be this. Sometimes telling the truth doesn't bring relief. It just reveals how deeply a family is trapped in silence. And the cruelest part is that the person who tried to protect everyone ends up being the one who feels most alone. This doesn't feel like a story about a bad choice. It feels like a story about a child being asked to carry an adult's trauma and paying for it when he finally breaks under the weight. All right, everyone, which story got you fired up the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for spending your time with me. Your support genuinely means the world. Take care, much love, and I'll see you in the next one.